There are places where people believe an invisible gateway exists between heaven and earth, connecting the human world with the unseen realm. In southern Vietnam, Ba Den Mountain is one such place. Standing nearly 1.000 meters tall, this mountain is not only a symbol of Tay Ninh province but also a spiritual center that preserves hundreds of mysterious stories, from ancient legends and chilling rumors to real-life experiences shared by visitors and local residents. In today's journey, we will explore Ba Den Mountain, a sacred peak where every rock and every trail seems to hold unexplained mysteries. The story begins hundreds of years ago. In the land of Tay Ninh lived a young woman named Den. She was renowned for her beauty, but because of her dark complexion, people affectionately called her the Black Maiden. She fell in love with a poor yet ambitious young man. However, fate intervened when her family forced her to marry someone else. On the night before the wedding, she chose to flee and sought refuge in the mountains to remain faithful to her true love. When pursued, she threw herself from a cliff to protect her honor. Moved by her tragic fate, local people built a shrine in her memory and worshipped her as Linh Son Tan Mao, the Holy Mother of Linh Son, also known as Ba Den, the Black Lady. From that moment on, the mountain took her name and became a sacred destination, attracting pilgrims from across southern Vietnam. People believe her spirit still lingers there, blessing those who come with sincere devotion. Many mysteries are said to exist on Ba Den Mountain, and one of the most famous phenomena is the mysterious bell that echoes through the night. During the day, the mountain is crowded with pilgrims and visitors, but when darkness falls, an eerie silence settles over the landscape. Wind passing through rocky crevices creates haunting sounds, sometimes like sighs or distant cries, that can send chills down anyone's spine. Yet what frightens many people even more is the sound of temple bells ringing in the darkness. Residents living at the foot of the mountain claim that countless times, in the middle of the night when the entire village is asleep, they suddenly hear the sound of a bell. It is not loud or frantic, but slow and resonant, lingering in the air. Strangely, these bells ring even when there are no ceremonies taking place and no monks performing rituals. Sometimes the bell tolls only 3 times before fading away. At other times, it continues for many minutes, leaving the entire area in silent unease. One visitor who stayed overnight at a temple on the mountain recounted being awakened by the sound of a bell ringing nearby. At first, he assumed someone was conducting prayers. However, after searching the temple grounds, he found no one. Darkness covered everything, yet the bell continued to ring steadily. He later said the sound seemed to come from directly behind him. But whenever he turned around, there was nothing there. Researchers have attempted to explain this phenomenon. One theory suggests that the bell-like sound is created by wind passing through mountain crevices and resonating against rock formations. But if it is merely the wind, why does it ring in distinct intervals like a person striking a temple bell? And why does it sometimes occur on calm, windless nights? Because of these unanswered questions, many people believe the sound is not a natural occurrence but a sacred bell rung by Linh Son Tan Mao herself, reminding visitors to remain respectful in this holy place. According to local folklore, those who hear the bell and pray sincerely often receive good fortune, while those who harbor disrespect may later encounter misfortune. To this day, the mysterious nighttime bell of Ba Den Mountain remains unexplained. Is it simply a trick of the wind, or is it a sound from an unseen world? Whatever the truth may be, it continues to fascinate and unsettle those who hear about it, strengthening the belief that this mountain is truly a sacred place where the boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds has never been entirely clear. The mysterious lights and the feeling of being led astray. The mysterious bell is not the only unexplained phenomenon associated with Ba Den Mountain. Many people claim to have witnessed strange lights appearing on the mountainside during the darkest hours of the night. Those who have spent the night on the mountain often describe seeing pale blue lights floating among the trees. These were not flashlights, torches, or lights from other hikers. Instead, they appeared as faint blue orbs that drifted silently through the forest. Sometimes they hovered in place. Other times they glided just above the ground or split into several smaller lights. A few visitors even managed to capture these lights on camera. In the recordings, the glowing blue shapes seemed to dance through the darkness before vanishing only seconds later. According to scientific explanations, these lights may be a form of marsh fire or phosphorescent combustion caused by gases released from decomposing organic matter. However, many locals believe otherwise. They see the lights as wandering spirits or souls unable to find peace, lingering in the mountain forests. Yet the strange lights are only part of the story. Many hikers have reported a far more unsettling experience, the sensation of being guided away from the trail. Numerous climbing groups have shared remarkably similar accounts. While following a familiar path, they suddenly felt as though someone was calling their name from deeper within the forest. Others described hearing footsteps ahead of them, as if an unseen figure were leading the way. Following these sounds often resulted in hikers gradually leaving the main trail and wandering into dense wilderness. By the time they realized what had happened, they were completely lost. Some groups spent hours trying to find their way back. Others were fortunate enough to encounter fellow hikers who helped guide them to safety. Yet many of them recalled the same unsettling feeling. It felt like someone was deliberately leading me in circles, pulling me deeper into the forest. Scientists suggest that exhaustion, dehydration, lack of oxygen, and sleep deprivation can create auditory and visual hallucinations during strenuous climbs. However, what many find remarkable is how consistently different people describe nearly identical experiences. The voices within the caves. Deep inside Ba Den Mountain are numerous caves, some of which remain largely unexplored. Locals and exploration teams have reported hearing strange sounds from within these caves. At times, the noises resemble the sorrowful crying of a woman. At other times, they sound like eerie laughter echoing through the darkness. The sounds are not particularly loud, yet they seem to come from every direction at once, making it impossible to determine their source. One local resident recalled a childhood experience. When I was young, my friends and I entered a cave to explore. We were laughing and talking when suddenly we heard someone crying. It sounded as though the person was standing right beside us. We were terrified and ran out immediately. None of us ever went back. Some researchers believe these sounds are caused by unusual acoustic effects created when wind moves through narrow rock formations. Yet many who have heard them insist that the noises sound far too human to be easily dismissed. The flickering lights, the sensation of being led astray, and the mysterious voices echoing through hidden caves are only the surface of the mountain's mysteries. For beyond these strange phenomena lies a rich collection of legends connected not only to folklore but also to history, war, and the testimonies of those who lived and fought around the mountain. These stories have given Ba Den Mountain a unique reputation, both sacred and unsettling. A place that few can hear about without being captivated. The wartime legends. During the French colonial era, Ba Den Mountain was considered a strategically important location. French forces established military posts around its base to control the surrounding region. However, the mountain challenged them in ways beyond its difficult terrain. Historical accounts from soldiers mention patrols that ventured into the mountain at night, only for one or more members of the group to mysteriously disappear. Fellow soldiers searched with lanterns and called out their names, yet no trace was ever found. These unexplained disappearances fueled rumors among the troops that the mountain possessed supernatural forces capable of leading men to their deaths. Later, during the Vietnam War, Ba Den Mountain again became a military hotspot. Several American veterans later recounted strange experiences while stationed near the mountain. Many reported hearing footsteps behind them late at night. The footsteps sounded heavy and distinct, yet whenever they turned around, no one was there. Some soldiers even claimed to see the figure of a woman dressed in white standing silently on a distant slope, watching the camp from afar. Moments later, the figure would disappear into the mist. For many of those stationed there, these experiences became haunting memories that remained with them long after the war had ended. Modern investigations and unexplained recordings. The mysteries of Ba Den Mountain did not end with the wars. In recent years, several research groups and amateur investigators have visited the mountain carrying audio recording equipment in hopes of documenting unusual phenomena. Their goal was simple: determine whether the stories surrounding the mountain had any basis in reality. What they found only deepened the mystery. While reviewing recordings made during nighttime expeditions, some teams reported hearing faint whispers and indistinct voices. The sounds seemed to appear out of nowhere, often resembling someone speaking softly just beside the microphone. The strange part was that at the time of recording, all members of the group insisted that nobody had been talking. In several recordings, the voices were so faint that they could not be clearly identified. Yet they were distinct enough to leave listeners wondering whether they were hearing a natural sound, or something else entirely. To this day, no definitive explanation has been accepted. The meditating figure on the cliff. Not only researchers but also local residents continue to share stories about unusual sightings on the mountain. Some claim that during sunset they have seen the silhouette of a person seated in meditation atop a high cliff. The figure appears perfectly still, resembling a monk deep in contemplation. Witnesses often describe being drawn toward the site, feeling compelled to get closer. Yet as they approach, something strange happens. The figure gradually fades away until nothing remains. Many locals believe these appearances are signs that the mountain remains a sacred place where spiritual energies continue to linger. Others see them as manifestations of souls that have not fully departed from the earthly realm. Whether these sightings are optical illusions, tricks of light, or something beyond explanation remains unknown. A mountain between two worlds. From the stories of French soldiers and American troops to modern investigators and ordinary villagers, countless accounts have contributed to the legend of Ba Den Mountain. The mountain has become more than a geographical landmark. For many people, it represents a place where history, faith, and mystery intersect. Some view it as a gateway between the visible and invisible worlds. Others see it simply as a beautiful mountain whose natural environment inspires imagination and folklore. Regardless of which interpretation one chooses, the mountain continues to fascinate everyone who visits. Scientific explanations. Faced with so many unusual stories, scientists have attempted to provide rational explanations for the phenomena associated with Ba Den Mountain. According to acoustic experts, the mysterious bell sounds may result from wind passing through uniquely shaped rock formations. Under certain conditions, these natural structures can create resonant frequencies remarkably similar to the ringing of temple bells. The blue lights reported in the forest may be explained by naturally occurring phosphine gases released from decomposing organic matter beneath the soil. When these gases ignite under specific environmental conditions, they can produce faint blue flames that appear to float through the darkness. The sensation of being led off a trail may also have a scientific basis. Mountain climbing is physically demanding. Fatigue, dehydration, low oxygen levels, and psychological stress can impair judgment and create auditory or visual distortions. In such conditions, hikers may mistakenly perceive voices, footsteps, or figures that are not actually present. The mountain's rugged terrain further increases the likelihood of becoming disoriented. From a scientific perspective, many of the reported experiences can therefore be understood as the result of natural causes. Yet not everything fits neatly into these explanations. The questions that remain. Despite scientific theories, some mysteries continue to resist easy answers. There are still recordings containing unexplained whispers. There are still reports of people disappearing under unusual circumstances. There are still sightings of shadowy figures that appear briefly before vanishing without a trace. Most importantly, there remains the enduring faith of millions of pilgrims who visit Ba Den Mountain every year. For them, the mountain is not merely a natural landmark. It is sacred ground. A place where the physical world and the spiritual realm seem to touch. That belief has survived for centuries, passed from one generation to the next. Science may eventually explain certain phenomena, but the sense of wonder, reverence, and spiritual significance surrounding Ba Den Mountain remains as strong as ever. Rising proudly above the southern plains of Vietnam, Ba Den Mountain has witnessed centuries of history. Its cliffs, caves, and ancient pathways preserve stories of love, sacrifice, war, and mystery. From the tragic legend of the Black Lady to the mysterious bells that ring through the night. From wartime ghost stories to modern-day sightings and unexplained recordings, Every layer of the mountain adds to its enduring reputation. Perhaps the true power of Ba Den Mountain lies not in proving whether these stories are real or false. Perhaps its greatest mystery is the way it inspires people to believe that there may be more to this world than what we can see. Standing before the mountain, one cannot help but feel both humbled and fascinated. For here, the boundary between history and legend, between reality and mystery, seems thinner than ever. And what about you? Do you believe that supernatural forces truly exist on Ba Den Mountain? Or do you think these stories are simply the result of natural phenomena and human imagination? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue exploring the many mysteries hidden throughout Vietnam.